Tammy Taylor with our Fantastic Four, and we are joining forces on this morning. So come on in and hit that share button. Let me know where you're coming from. And Tammy, go ahead and give some people the love out there. Let them know who you are and what you're
Yes,
about as I get
sir.
all of my social media friends on.
Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Tammy Taylor from Create and Educate, and I am elated to be on this morning with my big brother in education, Principal Shawn Hurt. And I am honored to have this opportunity to represent, create, and educate. My partner in crime is on her way back to the United States this morning. And so we're really excited about the opportunity to combine forces. Principal Hurt and I are coming to you as a part of the Fantastic Four after us this morning because we're going to take the time for Principal's Hurt slot this morning, as well as our Real Academy. And we're going to be followed, of course, by none other than the GOAT himself, Principal Kafele, who will come on after us. And then Josh and Dean, of course, are on I Like the Middle on Sunday nights. So part of your Fantastic Four are represented here this morning in full force, ready to help you with settling in as we head into this last stretch of the school year. We some of us are coming off of spring break, so I hope that if you were on break last week, you are energized and rejuvenated and ready to get back to the grind so that we can go on and get this year finished.
Good, good, good. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm telling you, we have a really, really fantastic, excellent program on this morning. So what I need everyone to go come on in, hit that share button. Let me know where you're coming from. Let me know where you're coming from. Get that notebook out, get that paper out. Because like I said, we're going to bring some information that's going to blow your mind. We're going to be talking, we're going to talk on three different topics and just everything that you need to know as relates to finishing off this school year on a good note. Also, this state testing that's coming up, we're going to give some advice on that. And then also, how do we go ahead and start the next school year off running? So go ahead and hit that share button. Let me know where you're coming from. So usually what we do is this. We ask the question, what keeps you up at night? And then I'm gonna say this again, and then I want everybody to put it inside of the chat. What keeps you up at night? So I'm gonna go ahead and Dr. Taylor, let's talk about what's keeping you up at night, and then I'm gonna say what's keeping me up at night. So go ahead, Dr. Taylor. Let the people know what's keeping you up at night.
Yeah, so Dr. Taylor is a sleeper, so nothing much keeps me up at night. However, there are some things that are always, as a leader, that are in the back of my mind, and they are things that I think, as a school principal, make me the person that I am. And one of those things that I'm always reflecting on, and I'm always thinking about, because I always want to be sure that I remain relevant. And so, in order to be relevant, I feel like I always have to be bettering myself as a person, of course, but also as a leader. So, I'm constantly not just studying and trying to learn and grow through opportunities to learn from folks like you, Principal Hurt, Principal Kafele, and all the folks that are out there that are bringing it for us, but also to just get before God and try to make sure that I'm allowing Him to use me and my leadership in a way that's relevant, that gets the results that He is expecting. Because I do, and I've said this time and time again, I want to make sure that I fulfill the assignment that He has placed on my life.
Good, good. I love it. I love it. That assignment that God has placed you in your life. I have something, and then I'm just looking at the chat, and I'm just loving this. We're going to just go back and forth. I have my good friend Anthony Green from Detroit. He's from my hometown. Much love. He is saying, my imagination, brainstorming the next idea or move. So that's what's keeping him up at night as he's working toward his goals. And my imagination, and that is something that's big. Your imagination. Go ahead and put in the chat. Come on, tell me what is keeping you up at night. I have somebody, he GING, I want to get the name right, and it's saying this. This is what it's saying is that how do you hit the aesthetic students with low literacy in 8th grade? This keeps me up at night as a science teacher. Feeling of inadequacy over how I can intervene and close the gap. Wow.
And that is something to keep us up, because that apathy that he's talking about,
Yeah,
it's across
absolutely.
the board, and it comes, Principal Hurt, as soon as I see it sometimes in kindergartners. And so it's a very real thing, and that is something that we are always going to have to pay attention to as the person at the helm. And one of the things that I know, and because you're talking about 8th grade, one of the things that I know some administrators do at the middle level is maybe get with your elementary theater school and try to get some of those strategies in there, that help your teachers to be able to share reading strategies that can maybe help those kids who are struggling, and maybe even change some of that apathy, because an apathetic student, the motivation is really in their court. They have to really change that spirit of apathy that is there. And the only thing I can say is kudos to what you do right now, and just keep doing what you're doing, trying to make sure that you give them the encouragement that they need so that they can see a better way.
Exactly. That is good. That is good. Hit that share. But I'm telling you, we are talking good on this morning. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. For me, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, the things that's keeping me up at night, one thing is this. Are we getting principals ready for the hot seat? Are we really preparing principals for that hot seat? I've worked with many principals over the years, and I've worked with some good principals. They're ready to go. But then also, I am seeing that many principals are getting first year principal positions. They're first years, and their hearts are right. They're motivated, but then the job is starting to become overwhelming for them because they wasn't prepared. They were not told, or they were not trained on the foundational pieces to be able to run a school of 800, 900 kids, to be able to deal with parents, to be able to deal with the union, to be able to deal with teachers, to be able to have, some of us have 40% of our teachers are long-term subs because of the teacher shortage. So now, Dr. Teller, how do I train and get the teachers ready, understanding that they might not have been through the traditional teacher program that me and you've been through, or millions of other teachers been through? These are first year. So how do we go over lesson plans? How do we manage a class of 25 kids, so forth and so on? And then on top of that, I will be judged at the end of the year based on our academic achievement.
That's right.
And I'm a first year teacher, and I barely even know how to look at a budget. I don't even know none of those things. So that is what's keeping me up at night. How can we better prepare these principals, these leaders, when they actually get into that position?
I salute you too for what you do to support leaders, because you're right. Most of what you need, you do not get in a preparation program.
Yes, 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 yes. And I got Mr. Robert Counts, Mr. Counts, my good friend. He's saying profound. Yes, yes, you are
Yes,
right. Yeah,
he's
so people are just
absolutely right.
commenting. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I was saying he's absolutely right. You're
Yeah.
spot on this morning.
Okay, so this is what we need. We're going to be on to 10:55. We have a lot of good information. I need everybody hit that share button, bring a friend, put in the comments. This is going to be big on today. We have Dr. Tammy Taylor, Shawn Hurt. We're joining forces. It's going to be a whole hour. So just like that song by Luther
Tag
Vandross,
team.
yes, tag team. We are going slow. We are going slow on today. We're going
Yes.
slow.
We're gonna
So
sing those love songs, and we're gonna take our
yes,
time
we are.
singing them
Yes,
love
we are.
songs.
Yes, we are. So Tammy, so Dr. Tammy Taylor, tell the world what's going on, what's happening in your world in education, what's going on, what you have coming up. Let everybody know before we start to get into the meat of our conversation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that space because I am so stoked that we actually have our culminating Bill My Sister event coming up next Saturday, April 13th, on Saturday morning from 9 till noonish at the University of South Carolina. If you are in our area, please come. We're going to share some information with you. Principal Hurt will share in the chat a link for you to be able to register for the event. We do plan to have a live stream from the event as well. But we are so super excited because Dr. Clenora Hudson Weems, the progenitor of the theoretical framework Africana Womanism, will be with us in person and deliver the keynote to all of the sisters and brothers who are able to join us to hear about why Africana Womanism is such a powerful tool for the Black community, because the beauty of Africana Womanism versus other frameworks is this is a framework that's family centered. And because it's family centered, men and women are in concert together. And that's what we have to be in order for us to change the trajectory of our children, because that's the bottom line. We want to make things better for the Africana child. So please join us. Again, sign up and make sure you register for the event. The last event was absolutely phenomenal, and we really didn't even have standing room. We were over capacity for the room that we were in. So we do expect that we'll have a good turnout, and I know we're going to have a great time. So thank you for allowing us to share that, Principal Hurt. And if you want more information, don't hesitate to reach out to either Dr. Sheikah Houston or myself, and we can help you with getting that information. So you can find information about Bill My Sister on our website, where you can also register, but you can also take the link that Principal Hurt's going to share and register from there as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just shared that link, so make sure you everybody look at it, and then also she will be able to share it on her website. I need everybody, my people in South Carolina, North Carolina, if you can drive to it, make sure you come and support. We're talking about some high level information. We're talking about building our sisters. That's one thing that we need to start doing: supporting one another, collaborating, sharing ideas. You name it. That's what we need to start doing as a community. We
Definitely.
have to start doing that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
am a proud Gamecock alumni, Josh.
Uh,
I am. Go Tigers.
game, go Tigers! And listen, the South Carolina Gamecocks, the women's basketball team, they're going to be in a
Going to the
championship game.
championship.
Let's represent Don Stanley. She's doing a big job. They are 38-0. They have not lost a game. So I know that all of my South Carolina folks, they'll be tuning in on the they play Iowa. They play Iowa on Sunday, I think,
On
at
Sunday.
3:30. So
Yep.
let's go. I'm supporting South Carolina all
Thank
the
you,
way.
Principal Hurt. Go Gamecocks.
Yes, yes, yes. And let me just share what's happening in education for me is that on yesterday, I conducted my first virtual international professional development with a principal, yes, named Amber Vance. I enjoyed myself. It was something that was big. We did it yesterday. and it was amazing. I'm just so. First of all, Principal Amber Vance, she's doing a good job with her school. She's eager to learn. She's going to take her school to a whole nother level.
Awesome.
As me, a young man born in Michigan, I was just like, man, God, that's amazing. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be doing the work I'm doing, the podcast with Dr. Tammy Taylor, but also with that, being able to speak to educators, not only in the United States, but also internationally. It just blew my mind. So you never know who's watching, who's listening, the platform and everything else like that. And it was funny because for 2 hours we were talking about data, using data to drive the instruction. We talked about some NWEA things, just everything that we're doing in the United States, they're doing over there. So it was just a blessing. And then the one thing I will say is this: you never know where you're going to be at in the next 2 to 3, 4 to 5 years. I say this and I will say this. If there's anybody on here being consistent with your work, showing up on time, showing up professional, giving the best version that you can being the best version that you are. And then I know I'm talking to somebody, being the best version that you are, giving 110%, being prepared. People look at that. You might not see the results on today, but 5 months, 2 years, 3 years down the road, it will manifest itself into something great. So I know I'm speaking to somebody out there. So I just want to let you know, you never know. Keep on being consistent. Don't throw in the towel. Whenever you throw in the towel, you will not get your results. Keep being consistent. Keep doing what you're doing, and you will see the results at the end of the day.
Principal Hart, I say, I am humbled to be in the presence of such greatness. I am so in awe because I know that your mission is to reach and impact education across the world. So that is really manifesting itself for you. And I'm just saying, stay consistent because what you're doing really does matter. I say, keep doing what you do, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I say, I just want to know what my biggest thing is that I want schools all over the world, especially inner city and rural schools dealing with kids, black kids, brown kids, that they know that they can learn. That's what I want. I really want that as a principal. I want to take all of my kids and say, you know what? We have some of the highest academic achievement in the state of Michigan. We have some of the highest academic achievement in the nation, and they're coming from inner city. A lot of times we throw those kids away. Oh, they're coming from a situation that's not the best situation. They're coming from situations where they might be single parents or the environment might not be good. But those kids can learn. Those kids can learn. I know we got about 45, 50 principals or teachers on here that are in that situation. And one thing I will say is those kids can learn. We just got to oh my God, raise the standard and give them the best that we can give them. And you will see that they will produce flowers. You will see that you have the next Tammy Taylor in the classroom. See, people didn't realize Dr. Tammy Taylor was going to be Dr. Tammy Taylor 25 or 30 years ago. She was just Tammy Taylor, but now she's Dr. Tammy Taylor doing big things. You don't realize that we can have the next Connie West. I see you, Connie West. You don't realize that we can have the next Sherrod Laws. I see you. You don't realize that we got the next Anthony Green, Principal Kafele. The list goes on and on of the people on here. But you weren't that in the third grade. You was just sitting there in the third grade, just in the classroom.
That's it.
Yeah,
You
and we
are,
all come
I
from
mean,
the
that
same.
is awesome. You are so correct
Yeah,
because you look at me, and that's what we have to be cognizant of. You don't know who you're handling. You may be cultivating the next archbishop. You don't know who you have. So you have to give all you have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to cultivate what God already has in these kids and place the expectation on them that you are able to do exceedingly and abundantly above anything that you can even think yourself right now. So I know that you are spot on. I'm sitting in a classroom, single mother who
Hmm.
can't make it to conferences like she's supposed to unless it's scheduled, and when you have to reschedule she might not be able to get there. So you're looking at me thinking, oh, they don't care, but she did. And you have to have people who believe in what's impossible, what seems impossible, so that you can reach what your destiny, because that's already been predestined. You can empower me to get there. So thank you so much, sir. Keep doing what you're doing, because that's what you got
No,
going on right now.
no, but it's funny because that's not even in our notes, and we're just going back and forth. But know what? First of all, we got people commenting. Dr. Teller, we got Deanna Klingman. What's up, Deanna
Good
Klingman? She's
morning,
from
Principal
she's
Cleveland.
from Michigan. She's from Flint. Flint in the house. We love Deanna Klingman. And know what?
Yay.
She's doing big things. And then she
She
can
is.
testify. She can testify. But I was thinking about this. LeBron James, and I know we're using him, but I just want to picture this. LeBron James' mother had LeBron James when she was 16 years old. Okay. Father left out the picture. So LeBron James' mother, Gloria, raised LeBron James, single mother. They moved from apartment to apartment, from situation to situations in Ohio. Now, when LeBron James was in the second, third, fourth grade, nobody knew he was going to be who he is now. No one knew that, oh, single mama, they trying to make ends meet every week. Mama working two jobs. He's pretty much raising himself. But someone, Dr. Taylor, had a conversation with him. Someone took an interest in him. Yes, we know he's a phenomenal basketball player, but there's many phenomenal basketball players that went through the cracks. But now, look at LeBron James now. He's a billionaire. He's a husband. He has three beautiful kids. He hasn't had any scandals. He gives back to his community. His kids are in going to college, the whole 9 yards. But
Because
who would have
somebody
thought?
invested, Principal Hunter.
Yes, man. Listen, hit that, please hit that share button. Dr. We talking good this morning. We talking good. There's somebody out there. There's a single mother, a single father. There's somebody out there that's trying to throw in the towel, Dr. Taylor. They saying, I can't do it. I have $25 in my savings account. I got bills up to here. I got three kids. I don't know if I'm going to be able to last for a week. I'm about to lose my house. I'm in foreclosure. Dr. Taylor, talk to the people about that. How can we overcome that, Dr. Taylor? Let's talk. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. We want you to be encouraged first. That's what we say. Be encouraged. Stay encouraged, because again, you're looking at somebody who shouldn't be sitting here this morning with Principal Shawn Hurd. I'm on this morning with Principal Shawn Hurd, who is internationally educating educators. So you're talking about, and I'm a single mother country girl straight out of Wilkesburg. That's my community, yay. But people are looking at you thinking that you're never going to amount to much because you come from such humble beginnings. But the Bible says, and forgive me this morning for having to go to what I know, but it
Oh, you
says,
can talk.
despise not meager beginnings. You know why? Because your greatness is not determined. And Sheikah says this often, your zip code does not determine where you're going. You cannot be destined to a situation or circumstance because of where you come from or who you come from or the circumstances to which you were born. You're there for a reason. And we say to you this morning, single mother, my mama is the example. You can do this. You got it. Because guess what? When all things, number one, are working together for your good, but when your heart is in the right place and your mind is focused on the things that are relevant to making sure that your children are getting what they need and getting to where you know they can get to going, you're unstoppable, because what will happen is you will find that person that Principal Hertz talking about this morning that we need to be. We will be those people who are investing in you, investing in the future of these children who we have the privilege and the honor and the opportunity to serve every day. We're not here this morning saying that it's an easy road, because it hasn't always been easy. I grew up, didn't even know that I was unfortunate. I know the people around me knew, and I could tell that people didn't think very much of what was going on. But you know what? I had what it took to stay with it. That stay with itness that you need in order to be able to approach whatever situation you're faced with. You have everything you need inside. And when God has given you the gifts that you need to be successful, all they need to be is, and again, the Bible says, stir it up, cultivate them. That's what we're here for. We're here to make sure, as educators, and I encourage you this morning, wherever you are, whatever role you play, cafeteria, custodian, whoever you are, when you see these kids, invest in them. Invest in saying, hey, you got this. You can be anything that you want to be. And I'm not just talking, I love LeBron, and I think he is one of the greatest of all times. And I love I like the way you described him, Principal Herb, because right now it's not even about what we can get on him. We want these kids to understand, yes, LeBron made it because he has these gifts and he can play basketball at a level that is at a normal level. But you can also make it based on what God has given you up here. You can make it based on what God has given you to play a guitar or the spoken word. You have to know what your gifts are. And that's what I encourage us to do as educators. Help these kids find out what the giftedness is in them so that they can reach their full potential.
Dr. Teller, you are saying some good stuff. Listen, the internet is blowing up. People are commenting, Dr. Teller. We got September saying, say it loud. She say it loud.
We can talk about this September, because this is something that we have to be mindful of. You never know who you have access to. You just don't know. And you can't decide because, oh, these kids are coming out of inner city Detroit, or these kids are coming out of small town Chester, or the Bronx, New York, or wherever you're from, whatever you do, whoever helps you to do it, it all works together for good, because there is purpose. And I believe that there's purpose at every child. I really believe that. And nobody can, and I know that they all have genius, and we all have to cultivate that genius in each one of the children that we get. But we also have to help these kids find their purpose so that we are able to fulfill what we've been called to do, and helping them to be able to do the same things. Because if not, we're going to have a lost generation.
Exactly. And the comments are coming in. You're on fire. We got Miss Klingman. Everyone in the school is amazing educators. We got September saying loud. We got Mrs. Melissa Chunu saying all things work together for the good. It's man.
Amen, Melissa. That's amen.
That's why we're here. So listen, hit that share button. Stay with us. We're going to be here to 10:55, and then after that, everybody, we're going to go over to Principal Gafele and support him. And I know he's going to be on fire. So to hit that share button, let me know where you're coming from. Take comments. You still got time. So know what, Tammy, tell before we get into the questions, I want to ask you this one question, and I know it's off script. If you was going to tell the one single mother or father raising 3 kids, they single parents raising 3 kids, and they ready to throw in the towel, They ready. They don't know what would be the one thing or two things advice that you would give to that single mom and dad ready to throw in the towel. Talk to the people, Tammy.
I would say if I could give advice, Principal Hurt, and it was just one word of wisdom, I would say just remember that children are a gift. My mom had four children, three brothers and me. And I think because she received us as gifts, she's single, whatever happenstance that happened to have been, she received us as gifts. And what my mother did was she took that very seriously. But this was one thing that I heard mom say: you cannot appreciate the gift more than the giver. So I would say to you, remember who the gifts came from,
Mm,
and then work to make sure that that's the way you handle them. And that's what she did. She worked long hours, tiresome, I'm sure, just very tiring to make sure that we had everything that we needed. When you feel like you can't go on, I'm here to say, I know that you can. There is a way, and it doesn't always seem right to us. It doesn't seem, it's not a natural thing, and I cannot explain it. But I can say this: I know that God will make a way. And if
mm.
you trust and believe that you have these gifts, and you're going to trust the giver, because that they were a gift from the giver, and honor these gifts the way that you taking care of them, because I mean, there's a responsibility there. You have to make sure that you lean into yourself. Number one, recognize the fact that, I this is a real thing for me, and I'm going to do this. Figuring it out for you, like what is the next thing for you, because a part of that is knowing who you are too, and beginning to value who you are, appreciate what you have. And honestly, there's no easy way, and my mama used to say that all the time. This isn't an easy thing. I work the way that I do so that you don't have to. So you continue to do what you're doing, support your children in every way that you can, but especially through academics, because make school that priority for them, to let them see that, hey, I'm with you, I got you, and this is your obligation. This is how we're going to change this dynamic. We seem to be on the struggle bus right now, but there is a better way. I know there's a better way, because Dr. Tammy Taylor told me that there's a better way, because guess what? She rode that same bus.
Good, good. I love it. It's funny because as a principal, I remember I would have teachers, they were single mothers or single fathers. And then I would say, whatever you need to do for your kid, I'm going to support you. If that means you got to take your lunch break and pick up your kid from daycare and bring them up to the school, we were K through eighth grade. So if they had a kindergarten, I would say, you know what, you could put them in our kindergarten teacher classroom half a day. You'll need to find a babysitter and all of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
We're in school. We love
Make it
kids.
work.
You, yeah, exactly. Bring them here. So for me as a principal, I understood that, and it's going to answer how do I understood that, and I wanted to support my teachers in that way, inside of that way, because it builds community. It allows me to know that I support you. The biggest thing is that as adults, when your job doesn't understand or support you, that's when you want to quit working. A lot of times people end up quit work because they say, know what, my kids come first. They frown up when I got to pick my kids up early, or I got to bring them to work, or
Or
whatever it
they
may
get
be.
sick, and
Or
kids
they
get sick. We know
exactly.
this.
Yes,
The thing
exactly.
is, Principal Hurt, and I think you're right. Like, to me, I think it's so powerful though, because I believe that I lead because of who I am. Like I can't
Yeah.
separate me from my leadership. The reason that I can be as gracious and graceful as I am is because I know the plight of a single mother. I know the plight of a
Mm.
single father. And guess what? You know what? I don't have a problem. I've got to go home today because I don't have anybody to get the kids after school. You know what I do? You do what you need to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do though because I have after school tutoring today. I got you. I
Mm.
tutor. I do what I can do to make sure that these parents feel supported as well. The same thing with parents who are the parents of the children in the school, not just
Yeah.
staff parents. We want to make sure again that the investment is in the children because that's what we're here for. And I think you started, and God probably led you in that direction, but you don't know who you have access to. So that's the reason that we have to treat all of our children with dignity, respect, and cultivating them to be the best that they can be, even when they resist us. Because we got some who don't want any part of
Yeah.
that. We
Okay.
still have to try to do what we can do to propel them to their destiny.
Good. This is some good stuff. So know what, Dr. Teller, we got about 19 minutes left, so we want to make sure we hit the questions. So kind of
Yes,
give
sir.
these, I mean, with this, give these educators once again, hit that share button, put comments in there. We have the boss educator. Yes, all deserve to be treated with dignity. Yes, boss. Yes,
Hey,
we
boss
love you. Yes.
lady.
Yes, yes, yes. And then we got Miss Jessica. Love this inspiration, Dr. Teller. So they just coming in, they're just coming in with all these comments. So let's talk about the now.
Okay.
Now we are in testing season. We have about 85, 90 educators on here, principals, teachers, and now testing season. State assessment is coming up. It's coming up next week from some people in 2 more weeks, and it's going to be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a whole month. And what's going to take place, no matter if you like it or don't, our schools will be judged by what our kids do on the state assessment, whether we are in high school, middle school, or elementary. So now, Dr. Teller, I'm a principal. I'm trying to get ready. Could you give about one or two or three, whatever, tips or points to say, all right, we can do this on Monday to get ready for the state assessment? What are some of those things that we can do as educators to go ahead and get ready? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think one major thing we can do going into these next few weeks is to be sure that we establish a mindset of excellence. And that's just going in there and encouraging the teachers and the students. Like, hey, I know you've taught them everything they needed to know this school year. You've learned everything you need to know to be successful on this test. Go in there and show us what you know. You got this. We're right now moving from coach, because we've been coaching this whole time, to cheering them on. I'm the cheerleader now. I'm your biggest cheerleader. You've got this now. Mind you, I know that there are action plans that have to be followed too, based on our spring data. Looking at our projections, we have placed certain action plans in place until testing time. So that spirit of excellence in that regard means that we're going to have to be sure that these plans are being executed so that kids are getting that last level of intervention, that last level of enrichment to help them to be ready when the time comes for them to go into those test sessions. Another thing, Principal Hurt, I think, is just making sure that you are the vibe. The students and the staff feed off you. Make sure that your vibe is positive and that you are showing them that, yeah, we got this. This is what we've been preparing for the whole year. And it's just like you said, we're not going in there with the weight of the world on their shoulders saying, look, this is how everybody's going to judge us. If you all don't do well, they're going to look at us like we haven't done what we were supposed to do this year. That's been the message the entire year. You've all known this. We've all been aware of this since we went into CSI. We know what the stakes are at hand. So now we change that to let's pressure and the expectation becomes one of excellence. We believe that you're going to do what you've prepared to do for this entire school year. And that's how we approach the test session, this whole test season. Another thing is for me, I think kids need to be exposed to practice items. They need to be
Mm.
exposed to practice tests. They need to not get into a test session and for the first time have to deal with DOK 2, level 2, 3 questions, because this needs to be the mindset that they're thinking in as they enter into these tests, so that they know that these are the types of questions that they're going to be responsible for. And then finally, Principal Hurt, I think that we could help parents to level set and get everybody on the same page. Make sure that we're allowing parents the opportunity to experience the test environment with practice or sample test items, to maybe get them in for some test sessions, just to let them see that this is what the test will be like for your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grader, your high schooler, whatever that looks and feels like in your context. But making sure that parents are aware, because we're not just saying, please let them get plenty rest. Please let them have a good breakfast. We want them to be encouraged to take your time. We want them to be able to see this is the level of demand that's going to be placed on them. So we need your support.
Good. I love it. I remember, just to add to that, I remember as a principal during outside dismissal, I would have a flyer and like 80 parents outside during the time that they're picking up the kid. The principal, look, this is me, will walk outside with the flyer saying, hey, fifth grade testing is this day right here. Here are some questions you can work with your kid at home. Each state has a link practice stuff that they can do work with Raheem at home. I was saying that all of the time. In addition to that, I said, teacher, I know you got 25 kids in your classroom. Could you call about 5 or 6 kids? Follow me very closely, and parents, call 5 or 6 parents and let them know what we're doing. Testing is coming up. Give them links, do the whole 9 yards, even though we're going to send it out to all 800 kids. But I wanted to make sure at least 250 parents heard from a staff member's mouth about what's taking place. And the last thing is that we would have a countdown. So we would have a 20-day countdown before the big day. And then also we would have a big assembly, a big prep rally. We would hype it up, and then I would have competition among grade levels, among teachers, and then have some type of a reward at the end of it based on growth and proficiency. So what I did was that it was sort of like March Madness, like in basketball. We're in March Madness. So I made it big. I hyped it up because the data says this. Listen, right? You got to listen. Y'all got to write this data down. I love data. The data says this. Follow me very closely. 25% of a student achievement based on a test is based on if a kid is motivated or not. That's 25% motivation. Put it in the chat. 25% is motivation. Am I motivated? Do I really want to do it? I might not even know the material, but I'm going to put my best foot forward because I'm motivated. That's number one. Another part is that 10% of a kid achieving maximal testing ability is based on the testing environment. The testing environment. How is the testing environment? Is the air conditioning working inside of that classroom? Is the heat working inside of that classroom? Do I have water or mints with the kids right there? Is it quiet on this side of the hallway? I would block off the hallway, and I would say during testing time, we're not ringing bells. No one is coming down this hallway. It's going to be quiet in the school because I want to make sure my kids have the right testing environment to be successful. And now you say, Hurt, really? So you're saying 35%, 10% on testing environment, 25% on motivation? Yes. That's half the battle for a kid to reach their maximum potential on the state test.
That's incredible.
Yes, yes, yes. Hit that share button. Let me know what you're talking about. We're talking about improving the state test. You still got time. You still got time. We're not, you still got 2 weeks. You could put this in place on Monday. And then just think, Dr. Tammy Taylor, if I do this and I put these things in place, my reading proficiency might go from a 28% to a 36% because I didn't put these few little things in place, and it does
Absolutely.
not cost me a dime. It
That's
doesn't
right.
cost me a dime for this.
And it's worth the effort. Like if it went from the 28th percentile to the 30th percentile, it's better. If it went from the 28th to the 32nd, it's better. So every opportunity that we can use, I think, to maximize the exposure that we have over the influence that we have over the test sessions, we need to go on and make sure that that's what we're doing.
Yes, agreed. Dr. Teller, I know that we're still winding down the end of the school year, but what are you or what would you recommend these all these educators that's on here, all of the educators that's following you? What are we doing to get ready for the 2024-2025 school year? I know we're still in this school year, but we still got to get ready for next year.
We
What are some of
do.
those things that you would suggest to these lovely educators out there that we can get ready for the upcoming school year?
Well, I'll say this, Principal Hurt. This is something that I believe very, very powerfully. And it's my opinion, but I believe that in order to start strong, you have to finish strong. So I think what we have to do over these next several weeks is provide a strong finish for this school year. We're in the school year, but we're closing it. So this is almost a wrap for us. What we're going to have to do at this point is already start looking into what are the things we're going to need for next year. What worked this year? So start with there. If nothing else, start with some evaluations of the programs that you use, of the resources that you use, what worked, what didn't work, and start making a list for the coming school year of those things that you want to make sure that you're shifting. It's now that you have to start getting your aces in their places. Make sure that you are putting your people where they need to be. If you haven't already told people that shifts are going to happen, you need to start having those conversations because, again, looking to the future, what this year looked like. Okay, well, I saw this in Tammy, and I really feel like Tammy can be a strong support for me in fourth grade. Tammy needs to know so she could go on and start getting her mind right for fourth grade for next year. But those are the kinds of conversations that you need to start having immediately. Creating those checklists, you get your end of the year list ready so that you could get your beginning of the year orientation ready. You need to make sure also that you are thinking ahead to plan your retreat for the summer for your instructional leadership team so that you guys already know based on your data. You won't have your state test data back, but you'll have your spring data that you're looking at this data saying, these are the instructional plans that we're making for the next school year. And I'll encourage you to do this. This is just me again. But if you're going to plan a retreat, please don't plan it for the week before your folks come back. Let them have that week to just prepare to get back to school. Let them be great. That's what I say because we're Great Falls. But just let them be that week. Try to make sure you schedule that before that time so that they can. I made that mistake before, and it just is very. They do it, and they do it with generosity and humility. But I've just seen it just adds a whole nother week of work to that group of people who are doing most of your work anyway. So just finish strong, guys. That's what I say. Strong finish. I saw somebody said hashtag strong finish. Hashtag strong finish is a way to get us to hashtag strong beginning. So just go on and start preparing your mind for what's to come, and we will definitely be able to open up in greatness next year.
Good, good. I think we got about 2 more minutes, but I just want to, because I want everybody to go to Principal Fele. He's coming on in a couple more minutes, but I want to kind of wrap it up, kind of wrap this up. Just a few things. We have Kathy Reed. Kathy Reed, I love you, one of my former teachers. She said, I had a fourth and fifth grade split, and it wasn't planned. It was a struggle. I understand, Kathy Reed. I understand, but I want to say this. This is what I want to say to all of my principals. I want you to make sure that you talk to your teachers, but those superstar teachers, those the best of the best in your school, make sure that you sit with them and let them know what the vision is. Because the most frustrating thing for a teacher, especially your best teachers, is that they will walk out your school if it is not organized, if they don't know what's taking place. I'm going to say this again. Your best teachers, those superstar teachers, the Kathy Reeds, she's a superstar teacher, one of my former teachers. Now, Miss Reed, if I was the principal, that wouldn't have happened, but that's a side note. But listen to this. You don't want those superstar teachers leaving because you're not prepared. You're not having those conversations with them and things of that nature. So I'm gonna stop with there. But listen, Tammy
And
Taylor.
Principal Hurt, let's do this too, because it's a few more things. Out let's type up some of those things on the list, and you can share it with other people, because we want to talk about summer slide. We want to talk about getting rosters ready. It's a lot of things to do to get ready for that
Yep.
opening very strongly next year. And thank you so
Exactly.
much for the time.
But before you leave, Dr. Taylor, could you just take 30 seconds? Let them know about what Creative Educators doing. Somebody might want to book you to come to the school. Give the people that information really quick. Go ahead.
Yes, create and educate. If you guys don't know us, we are typically on at 10:30 after Principal Hurts, 10 o'clock session on Saturday mornings with the Real Academy. And our Real framework is what we base the Academy on each Saturday. And we have a framework that is based on respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. And we provide professional development in all of those areas. We provide professional development for leaders, but we also provide professional development for instructional leadership teams. Right now, one of the things that we are focusing our emphasis is on our Build My Sister, because that is something, as Principal Hurt shared with you before, that is extremely relevant to the time that we're currently leading in. And so we invite you to just go to the website, register for the event, contact Sheikah or I. Sheikah is the social media person. You can find her anywhere. But if you go to our website, I think our link tree is there for you to be able to follow us, find us on social media platforms. And we are always happy to assist in any way that we can.
Thank you, Tammy Taylor. And same thing with me. Make sure you go and follow me, subscribe to my YouTube page if you like for me to come and support your school. You know the work I do. I'm about that diet. I'm about raising student achievement. So, I'm on all social media platforms. But we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Fantastic Four coming together. We love you. And make
Yes,
sure you
thank
go
y'all.
ahead and support our good friend, Principal Fele. He's going to be on there with a fantastic host. Let's have a good week. Let's stay encouraged. And if you need anything from us, you know how to reach us. Thank you. May God bless you.
Thank you, guys.